वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. The birth of Kauravas. One day, Gandhari entertained the great Krishnadvaipayan, who came after being extremely exhausted with hunger and fatigue. This hospitality of Gandhari gratified him. He said to her that he wanted to bestow her a boon of her choice. Gandhari, in reply, asked for a century of sons. She asked that each of her sons be equal to Dhritarashtra in strength and accomplishments. Sometime after that incident, Gandhari conceived. She waited for the child to be born, but the initial 10 months passed and there was no labor pain. She continued to bear the womb for 2 long years. Still, the child was not delivered. Naturally, she was distressed. At that time, she came to hear that Kunti had delivered a son Yudhishthir. She became impatient of the period of gestation that had prolonged so long. She lost all reason, blinded by that grief. She struck her womb with great force. Then a hard mass of flesh like an iron ball came out of her womb. When she was going to throw it away, Rishi Dvaipayan came there and looking at that ball of flesh addressed Gandhari. What have you done? Gandhari, without any attempt to disguise her feelings, said, After hearing that Kunti had brought a son like Surya in splendor, I stuck at my womb. You had granted me the boon of 100 sons, but I only have a ball of flesh. Vyas replied, What you say is true, but my words are never futile. I have not spoken an untruth even in jest. Bring 100 pots full of clarified butter at this instant, and let them all be placed at a concealed spot. In the meantime, let cool water be sprinkled over this ball of flesh. Then the rishi divided the lump into 101 parts, each about the size of the thumb. Each one of these were put into those pots full of clarified butter that had been placed at a concealed spot and watched with care. Vyas then instructed the daughter of Suala to open the covers of the pots after 2 years. When the rishi was dividing the ball into its parts, the nurses began to take them up and put them one by one into those pots filled with clarified butter. While this process was being carried on, Gandhari realized the affection that she felt for her daughter. She started thinking, as the Muni has said, so there is no doubt that I shall have 100 sons. But I would be very happy if I had a daughter too. Then my husband may attain those worlds that the possession of a daughter's son confer. She also thought of the affection the women feel for their son-in-laws. If I have ever practiced ascetic austerities, if I have ever given anything in charity, if I have ever performed the Homa through Brahmanas, if I have ever gratified my superiors with respect and attention, then let a daughter be born unto me. While Gandhari was wishing all this, Krishna Dvaipayan was dividing the ball of flesh, and after counting a full 100 of the parts, he said to Gandhari, Here are your 100 sons. I did not speak anything false. However, one part in excess of the 100 is here, which is intended to give you a daughter's son. This part shall develop into an amiable and fortunate daughter. Then he brought another pot full of clarified butter and put the part intended for a daughter into it. Dhritarashtra had one more son, Yuyutsu, born from a Vaisya woman. This woman used to attend on him when Gandhari was undergoing the gestation period of her pregnancy. He was also called Karna because his mother was a Vaisya woman. After some time, Duryodhan was born from one of those pieces of the ball of flesh that had been deposited in these spots. According to this order of birth, Yudhishthir was the eldest. The day on which Duryodhan was born, Bhishma was also born on the same day. Within a month, all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra and the daughter was born. The moment Duryodhan was born, various bad omens emerged. When he began to cry like an ass, the asses, vultures, jackals, and crows responded with their own cries. Violent winds began to blow, and fire emerged all around. Dhritarashtra, in great fear, summoning Bhishma and Vidur and others, said, The oldest Yudhishthir is the perpetuator of our line. By virtue of his birth, he has acquired the kingdom. We have nothing to say against this. But shall the son born after him become king? Tell me what is lawful and right. The moment Dhritarashtra uttered these words, jackals and other carnivorous animals began to howl. Considering the omens, the assembled Brahmanas and Vidur replied, when these frightful omens are noticeable at the birth of your eldest son, it is evident that he shall be the exterminator of your race. The prosperity of all depends on his abandonment. Keeping him will bring calamity to all. If you abandon him now, there will still remain 99 sons of yours. If you desire the good of your race, abandon him. Do good to that world and your own race by casting off this child. It has been said that an individual should be cast off for the sake of the family, that a family should be cast off for the sake of a village, that a village may be abandoned for the sake of the whole country, and that the earth itself may be abandoned for the sake of the soul. Even when Vidur and the Brahmanas had stated so, King Dhritarashtra, out of affection for his son, didn't have the heart to follow that advice. Thank you. आशा है कि आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा होगा। अगर लगा हो तो इसे लाइक और शेयर ज़रूर करें। ऐसे और वीडियोस देखने के लिए आप हमें सब्सक्राइब भी कर सकते हैं। अगर आप कोई फीडबैक देना चाहते हैं तो प्लीज़ कमेंट कीजिए। धन्यवाद।